Bring my mic up. Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotn movie reviews. This one's going to be a little bit different for the Peggy Sue Got Married because after the introduction of everyone with me on the panel, I am going to bring up a joke that they may or may not have heard. So, with me as always, as I was on his show last night, I have with me Tier Alexander. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, not so bad. With me as well as Angela Arriaga. How you doing tonight?
I have a nice little buzz, and I really enjoyed this film, so it's a good night.
Well, you and I are on the same page because I'm a little bit inebriated as well. And finally, bringing up the quartet, James Colley. How you doing, hon?
Great, wonderful, and just lovely. How are you, dear sir?
Oh, not so bad. Okay, so this was actually a joke that I may have heard before, but I cannot remember. But I heard it at my local Meijer, one of the people working the door. Really nice guy. I've seen him several times and talked to him before. Why do you never want to play cards with a sailor?
Why?
Because they're always standing on the deck.
Oh, God. Now he's using cheap jokes. Oh, what the hell's going on? That was funny.
Yeah, I couldn't resist in that whole thing. Well, I will switch over to the review and going in there, and if you'll notice once it comes up, I have made a little bit of adjustment to it that I think you guys might get a kick out of if you notice and pay a bit of attention. You can close out. But today we are reviewing the 1986 movie Peggy Sue Got Married. This movie was made the exact same year Tia and I were born because we're both from 86. Also, it's the same year Polydub was born because he's like a couple days or weeks older than me.
86?
Yep.
I was 8 years old.
108? Okay.
I'm pretty sure this wasn't Francis Ford Coppola's first film, but he is the director of it. Well, Nicolas Cage is not the main character. He is one of the main supporting characters, and the cast. Holy shit, the cast. They had a good cast.
This cast was amazing, man.
I mean, you got Jim Carrey in his adult version playing a drug addict. That's not the first time he's going to play that.
This is not the
That's the
year.
I was going to do that.
Fucking Barry Miller.
Wow.
That dude has played some... He is memorable, but unmemorable. He blends in. I will say, while odd, not a terrible movie. Better than I expected. Granted, I tried to go in with no expectations. But from there, we'll go around for the panel, and we'll start with the Tier. What'd you think?
The movie was
You're breaking out in and out a little bit.
I really... Oh, man, I'm always breaking up.
Because breaking up
The
is hard
movie
to
was
do.
okay. It wasn't what I expected. A time travel plot. Yes. Hold on.
Well, like I said, I'm pretty sure this was the precursor to... Yes.
Like as I was saying, time travel is usually a mixed bag for me, but I like this one. It didn't overstay its welcome. It at the end it gave a did it really happen type of scenario,
Yeah.
and then why dear God, why is every young Nicolas Cage movie he's either an asshole adjacent?
Oh, he's still more of a sympathetic character in this one just because when you look at what happened when he's older, for the most part, it's kind of understandable for, I mean, let's be honest, what happens to a lot of the high school sweethearts that don't stick together. Like, usually she got knocked up, they got married, and now they both felt like they missed out.
Yeah. But at least, again, it tried to... She tried to fix their life. You know, she tried to...
Oh, yeah, I also forgot Bob from that 70s show was in there for a moment. Don Stark.
He was?
Yeah.
He was
He was the one who was given
boozy guy
Richard.
with the handshakes.
Yeah.
I
He was
didn't
at
know
the
this.
reunion.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, a hell of a cast. Okay, we got Kathleen Turner, the main character, Nicolas Cage, Barry Miller, Kathleen Hicks, or Catherine Hicks, Joan Allen, Kevin J. O'Connor, Jim Carrey, Lisa Jane Persky, Don
Helen
Miller.
Hunt. Helen Hunt.
Yeah, I think I didn't see
Yeah,
him.
Helen Hunt was
Sophia
yeah.
Coppola, because Helen Hunt right there. Don Stark. Like, it's kind of funny because like movies like this, we look at the cast now and we're like, oh man, this was such a star-studded cast, but they were all pretty relatively unknown or up-and-comers at that point. If you look at it.
Yeah, it's amazing how like different a lot of them are then than they are now.
Yeah.
Like nobody would have known Jim Carrey was gonna grow up to be a weird nut bar.
Well,
Yeah. With every role he's played and everything, it's really not that surprising. I mean, look at his role in this one. I mean, yeah, he's a dentist, but he's a drug, he's a fucking cocaine addict. Look at the role he played in The Death Wish. Because, yeah, he has a quick... In that one, he's not Jim Carrey. He's James Carrey.
yeah, no one cares.
Well, he has the whole thing of where he gets killed from what's a suspected overdose, but it's a done overdose for that one because, in movies like that, so many different people have had an upstart as like either a somewhat ruffian, Jeff Goldblum in the first Death Wish. Yeah, that wasn't even really.
Denzel Washington was in the first. Was in one of the Death Wishes. I believe he was the first one.
I don't remember if
he was a hood.
No, it wasn't him. It was Morbius. Not Morbius. Morpheus. Lawrence Fishburne.
No,
he's in the second.
Denzel Washington was in the first one. A young Denzel Washington was in the first Death Wish. He was one of the first hoods that Kersey kills.
Huh. Now I gotta look this up because we went all off track.
Oh Lord.
Because we always do.
It's just in our nature.
Yeah. I still have to say, because the way this one was, it just seemed like the precursor to what Hot Tub Time Machine was going to be.
Ha!
Well, I mean, look at all of the setup. She's going to Richard, the one dude, and she brings up all the great things he's going to do, and he's telling him more and more things, and how it's kind of going to be a business venture.
That she broke the first rule of time travel. Don't fuck with
Don't
anything.
change anything.
And that begs the reason. So remember when she first gets there, she sees the balloon, like the silver balloon from the reunion.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the guy writes the book about their time together. So did it happen? Did it didn't happen? Was she just all dreaming this shit? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
I mean, it's kind of left to be ambiguous. It's kind of meant, I think, supposed to be like, it's more implied that it did happen because of the book that was written, and him being like, I'm gonna write. He's like, I'm gonna dedicate it to you. So, yeah. From there, I don't really know. Otherwise, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Again, it was. But
Go ahead.
I was gonna say again, it's time travel at least done somewhat plausible. I have a real big issue with time travel stories.
Oh yeah.
Like they're hit or miss, and 9 times out of 10 they're miss for me.
Well, the biggest thing is that it all depends on how they are. Like, I still like the first Terminator. It was kind of funny, of like, in a way, almost that my own grandpa, but it was more like I sent my own dad back in time to make sure I was made.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right,
And like, Back to the Future was fun, because that's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be fun. Like, even like Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme was at least kind of fun. I mean, at least in the opening, to where he's just like, the guy goes to steal a bag or something. He goes to, he stops him, and he has to kick his foot up in the air, and he's like, "What's it say?" And he's like, "Wolverine." "What's it say between the lines?" "I better not fucking do this again." Exactly.
But all right, so you bring up fucking Terminator. You know the concept of a bootstrap paradox, right?
Inform me.
All right, so the basic term for bootstrap paradox: you go and buy a copy of Shakespeare's plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go back in time and give Shakespeare the play, the book of plays.
Oh, basically, it's the whole you're the one destined to go back in time to end up doing that.
Well, no, not necessarily that you're the one destined to go back in time. Who originally wrote the book of plays?
That's true.
So, and Terminator has that. That's the issue I have with Terminator, and that's what most time travel event stories are. It's a bunch of bootstrap paradoxes that never get answered. You something happens A, you do B, which go do C, which causes A. But A can't happen until you do C. It's weird.
I mean, that's basically every
Exactly.
freaking time travel mix. Even if you look at Time Cop, which doesn't have the whole thing of anyone going back in time to cause anything. It's just basically they are somehow in a static timeline that they can tell when things have been altered because of the machinery they have. So they send someone back in time to stop something before it gets changed. Like, they have in the opening, a heist of gold that happens out in the Old West and everything, and the guy stops him to steal it, but he's got like freaking Uzis instead of single action revolvers. So obviously he's got a one up on an entire group. So like they've got to go back in time and basically stop him from being able to do that. Because while the gold he has is valuable then, it's even more valuable in the future. So this one, it's like, yeah, she kind of screwed some things up and whatnot because, well, like Angela said earlier in the side chat, she's a woman in, I wouldn't necessarily say in her sexual prime, but definitely
She's supposed to be in her 30s, which is supposedly the prime of a woman's sexual peak.
I don't know about peak necessarily, but then again, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist. I will say that from talking to several different people and listening and seeing things on the internet, it typically is when there are a lot of women who are, I guess they have less inhibitions about things. Is the best way I can put it. So they're more wanting to experience life. It just seems like that's kind of like, depending on what they've done in life, that's when they typically have the whole, I regret not banging this dude. Because like, notice we're not seeing that as much anymore from women, or from some women. I can't say all, obviously, But it was usually the
And-
whole thing of like it kind of goes with like the sexual liberation thing of them being like, oh, I married this one guy, never got to experience my life and go out and try different things with different people. But that's neither here nor there. And son of a bitch, I forgot where I was going with this.
Wow.
I should not have been drinking. I'll get back there in the moment. Someone step in.
All right, so how about them Raiders?
Okay.
Oh, with her going and wanting to change things of like basically sleeping with that dude and everything else. One of her own friends, or not own friends, the chick who was doing all the interviews was the complete bitch. Was like, oh, you two have been married, so how's it feel to have missed the whole sexual liberation? She kind of felt like she got the chance to go and basically boink around a little bit. What's up, Johnny?
Yeah. What up, Hellcat?
Hiya, Johnny.
I really, really didn't like that chick. I was so glad when she turned around and sprayed her with fountain pen ink.
Yes.
I didn't like the commie. I really didn't like the beatnik.
Okay, I don't necessarily think he was a commie. I still think he was just someone who he thought he was smarter than he was, and he also thinks he's a better writer than he was. To break it down the best way is he's the type of person who's going to go to college and get an English degree and think he's just so fucking smart. He's the type of person who's going to go and get if he goes to a psychology class, after the first thing, he thinks he's going to know everything about everybody's psychology. He thinks he's smarter than he is, and he's a fucking idiot. I mean, granted, him arguing with the English teacher was funny because I think they're most likely both fucking retarded in half of that shit.
I mean, but it's mostly an interpret. Most literary debates are interpretations. All art is subjective. You know, we can look at the same painting and get two different interpretations of what the artist was trying to do.
Oh, I agree with you on that one.
And Hemingway is another one of those artists where you can get two different interpretations of his work without actually asking him.
I'm sorry. I already stated my piece on Hemingway, so I'll just let
Go ahead and restate it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hemingway is ass. He is a misogynistic douchebag. And I am not somebody who throws around the word misogynistic.
I'm not surprised with that.
Product of his time.
I had to turn around and read A Farewell to Arms in senior year. And I was miserable the whole time because it was basically just a treatise on how this guy thought women were all complete flakes and airheads, and he hated them all. And I get it. He was heartbroken because some bitchy nurse strung him along and made him think that she was going to marry him when they went home after he got injured in the war.
Yeah.
But he carried that with him pretty much forever and treated all women based on that one experience.
Well, that is an unfortunate thing, and that is how some men are. Just like there are women that are like that because they had the bad experience with a guy. They think all men are trash.
Yeah, I don't think that's right in either direction.
Oh, then I completely
never
agree with
is.
you on that one. It's just, unfortunately, people are idiots. It's where it, and even with even being of higher intelligence, shit, sometimes you're easier to trick because all you have to do is apply the better what ifs to it. Feed the ego.
You huff your own fucking farts.
You get fucked in the farts.
Oh God, no!
Exactly.
Don't bring that back, please. Oh my God.
You start huffing your own goddamn farts and shit. That's what that is. Such pretension. Ugh.
I mean, honestly, though, I could kind of say that this was like very similar to Valley Girl, just like the opposite story. To where instead,
Where it's the woman.
well, instead of having the whole,
Like,
in a way, but instead of going with the guy from, not in the valley, that she decides to stick with the guy that she thought she should be with and everything, but that's only because of the fact of, from what she's experienced in this whole portion, she's from the future, and while there's things she regrets, the biggest thing she's even stated that she misses is her children. And I think in the end she realizes, yes, it is that whole thing. She realizes she does love Nicolas Cage's character, Charlie. But she also realizes that without him, even though there's been miserable times, she wouldn't have her kids, who she truly loves. And if she changes too much, she won't have them.
No, I
yeah.
think she does actually love him. She is in love with him. She's just
angry at him.
figured
Like,
that. Well, yeah, she was fucked up because they were getting divorced because he cheated on her.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, that whole thing of, like I said, I brought up, they were high school sweethearts. They got married at 18 because she got pregnant. And then, he ends up cheating on her because he might have felt he missed out on something, and she feels that she missed out on something, and they're both just being idiots.
yeah, exactly. But she kind of thought that she was saving him heartache and all of that too. It kind of, okay, this kind of seemed to me a lot like Coppola's take on It's a Wonderful Life, only he thought that it would be better if she could actually impact the situation.
Plausibly. But
where rather than just changing her mind about
yeah, rather than being the one standing on the bridge being like, oh no, there is reason to live. Yeah. But I will be back in a quick moment, so talk amongst yourselves. And
I would. So from the way it makes it seem, is that something happened to her little sister. Like she goes to see her little sister when she just ecstatic to see her little sister. So either they drifted apart or little sister's dead or something.
It's to me that her family, she basically said at the in the middle of the movie when her grandma called, or when she was talking to her grandpa, that's when she said it, that once they were gone, the family just completely drifted apart. They never actually saw each other anymore. So basically, it seemed like she and the sister didn't get along to begin with. And then once Grandma died, nobody was hanging out anymore. They just went their separate ways.
I'm not gonna lie, the whole bit of like Nicolas Cage's character grabbing her when the lights are going out and everything, and they thought that sent her back to the future, was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was actually a very well played comedic moment, because then they done like, well, she's where she needs to be. Who wants to play cards?
Yeah, it was funny. It was a better version of the Burke Wonderstone, where he does the the guy's in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a better version of that. What it should have been.
It was fantastic. I loved it.
Yes.
But did the movie leave you with
emotional damage?
This one?
That whole
No, I
that
haven't.
whole movie was emotional damage. The movie.
Which movie?
This she was going back and seeing everybody did something to her. She couldn't talk to the grandmother because she remembers her down.
she couldn't talk to her at first because she hadn't come to terms with everything. That was the bigger thing, was she had to come to terms with everything. And once she did, she could go and see them, which is why she went and saw them near the end. Because she realized they were one of the few people she could reach out to and it really wouldn't affect anything. But just, she had unresolved issues that she could finally get out.
I loved that she was able to turn around and tell them that she was actually from the future, and they listened and didn't question it even a little bit.
Well, when your grandfather is a part of a secret society with a time travel theme,
and the grandmother claims to know when she's going to die. They seemed pretty hippie-ish to that one.
It was fantastic.
Throwing in the Masons. I wish it would have been some other organization. Throwing the Freemasons. Come on.
That wasn't the Freemasons. They don't carry all that.
That was not the Freemasons.
they wear different hats.
Yeah.
They wear different hats.
Really, they do.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to do that one.
Reverse rim shot.
I could have done the one where it's like, they wear different hats and you should know better because
Degenerates like you belong on a cross.
Oh, no. Oh.
that's still one of my personal favorites that I had found.
That is
Wow.
one of my favorites.
That one is better than the Wendigoon.
Government sanctioned weaponized femboys.
Which, by the way, if you've never gone through the conspiracy theory iceberg with Wendigoon, I know it's like 9 hours, and he does have a single video to where it's all the different videos cut together with the intros and endings cut to where it's pretty fluid. I still recommend it. And
that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold
said so. Oh my god.
And sometimes you just need something to do because of...
Why does anyone do anything? Sheer absolute boredom.
Yeah, absolute boredom.
And then just because...
has been
most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government
I'm here to help. And I'm here to help.
That is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Well, I am from the government, and I'm not here to help.
That's because you're TSA.
Exactly. Fucking, I don't help. I just make shit worse.
Oh my god.
I mean, he's not wrong. Did you guys notice the little difference I made on the TV?
Yep, I see our avatars in
I
the
was gonna
corner.
say with the avatars at the corner.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, if I ever decide I'm going to update the TV, I'm going to change it to where if I can find one where it's got like the different buttons, each avatar is going to be on a button. Hellcat, yours is going to be in there as well. If there's 5 buttons.
Well, there's 5 on this TV.
Those are knobs.
There's a difference.
Fine.
And on
It's cement.
those ones, they'd be extremely small.
Very tiny, yes.
I still eventually at some point either need to... God damn it, now I can't think of the word, but get someone to go through to try to get the artwork done, or try to find a good variant of it, but I want to find a TV that I can get rid of the center image of it that still has like the old school TVs that had the VCR installed in them.
Why don't you get a floor model?
Oh no, this isn't for the actual thing. I want the image of it.
I'm talking about for the image, a floor model.
I plausibly could at some point.
I think you got a single clip of Richard.
No, I had several of Richard, I think. I might have had one. I know I had one at least.
You have one of wannabe Jack Kerouac.
I want to know what the. I get some of the style of hair in the 80s, but god damn it, what the fuck was on Nicolas Cage's head?
Well, this shit was back in like the 60s. Okay, I swore I had one with Richard in it.
I don't think you do. Which kind of bums me out, because I really dig that actor.
What the hell? What the
hell?
Grandfather?
I will go back to my
well, I'm looking at the images right now and I'm not seeing one. I'm like, oh, it's because when I saw it in the trailer, I thought I got one of them. Apparently, I missed him.
Oh. But yeah, I'm an absolute movie nerd. And I absolutely adored Fame. So I turned around and when I found out that it was a movie before it was a series, I went and found the movie. And that actor plays something Garci. Ralph Garci, who is a comedian that ends up with like a massive speed habit.
Mm-hmm.
From the art school. It's supposed to be like a character based on Freddie Prinze Sr.
Mm. I want to say, if memory serves me correctly, if that's the one I'm thinking of. Was that the one who played Fred or the one who played Shaggy for the Junior in the first and second Scooby-Doo movie? Fred?
Freddie Prinze Jr. played Fred.
Okay, because he's married to Sarah Michelle Gellar and they've never gotten divorced. They got divorced, actually?
I
believe they got married.
Let me check.
Because last I knew, they were still married. They're like one of the few starred in Hollywood marriages that actually lasted. You know, they went the distance. They went for speed.
Yep, they are still married.
Nice.
All right, then we're going to switch back to this one. Go down to the slideshow. Go to this. Hey, add files.
They are still technically married, yeah.
Actually, we're going to go.
Wow, I didn't know she was 45.
Wow.
She's still hot, though. I adore her.
Of course.
Oh, the woman who played Buffy, I shouldn't say the original Buffy, because the original Buffy was in a movie. For the TV show.
No, she played TV Buffy, and I believe it was can't remember the chick's name. Looking it up since I'm already here.
Did you say TV Buffy?
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar was TV Buffy.
Yes.
Christy Swanson.
Yep.
And I forgot they had Donald Sutherland in that movie as Merrick.
It was so...
They had Paul Rubin as the vampire.
Pee Wee Herman was, yeah.
That movie was just so ridiculous. I mean, you had Rutger Hauer. Yep.
It was
Paul Rubens, Pee Wee.
Rest in peace.
Fucking Luke Perry. Paris Vaughn, David Arquette.
Arquette, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, wasn't David Arquette Luke Perry's friend in that?
Yeah.
Ended up becoming a vampire?
It had fucking Thomas Jane.
I did not know that.
He plays Zeph. Mark DiCarlo, Natasha Gregson Wagner, Shasha Jason.
Yeah, Ricky Lake and Ben Affleck, Seth Green. I did not know.
Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
God, we might have to do a review of that movie. It was so terrible, yet I love it so much.
It is a cult
awesomely
movie.
bad.
Yes. It is so bad, it is good.
And I'll actually say, because I know a lot of people say that one for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Because of some of the stuff I've seen, I actually kind of want to see the new Super Mario Brothers movie. Because apparently the trailers have been misleading people. Apparently, like, Peach isn't someone who, like, basically completely outshines Mario and that whole thing. Like, she doesn't go that whole, like, boss babe thing that they always want to put for women. Because Hollywood is a bunch of jackasses.
I need to see it then. Because I was hating it.
Let me see if I have the thing somewhere. Because I saved it and... Okay, that means it's in my phone. Oh, wait, which I put that in the camera over here, so I'll find it while someone keeps talking.
Yeah, alright. So, how about those Raiders?
You need a better line.
What?
And
You and the Raiders,
and
man.
and the proper term isn't how about them Raiders, it's how about that insert local sports team.
How about that insert local baseball team?
There you go. Now you're getting there.
Like, it's baseball season, so. Nah, like I was saying earlier, this one was a good one. I really wish Helen Hunt would have had. I love Helen Hunt. I wish she would have had a bigger role. Maybe she should have had a dream sequence of being like her mother seeing her somewhere every so often. Like, you're my daughter. Like, no, you're a gardener or something.
Yeah. Okay. So I will.
Let's put Kathleen Turner. I forgot how stunning that woman was. I so wanted to look like her when I was a kid.
Was it paste? Go over to OBS. We'll do that for a moment. Say plus. Image. New image. Browse. So that way you can read it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not supposed to. Advertisements and interviews push her as a strong girl boss character. Watch movie. She falls in love with Mario at first sight and does everything she can to help him out and is very sweet to him. Doesn't overshadow him at all as Mario saves the day multiple times in the movie. Did marketing trick me into thinking she's a girl boss when it's not like that at all? And I'll say flat out, I'm not actually that like. While I'm surprised, I'm not super unsurprised that they would go through and do something like that, considering the fact it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
And this was Nintendo's first thing back into movies. After the Mario movie, they were very, very protective because, like, when they were working on a Legend of Zelda TV show, And one of the people that was working on it let out a rumor that he was plausibly working on it because there were like two different things they were working on. They completely did a stop loss on both of them and pulled the plug. That's how protective they've been. But the funny thing is for Nintendo, it's because in all reality with everything, they're not as big as someone like Sony, Disney. Well, while a lot of people know Nintendo stuff predominantly because of the licenses they own, like Pokemon and Mario, they don't have the ability to, that if things go too bad, they could easily be bought out by another company that could just completely destroy a franchise. Look at what Disney has done to a lot of things.
Well, again, like they already had they had plenty of movies. They had the Pokemon movie they have officially sanctioned because technically Game Freak is a subsidiary of Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, but for Pokemon, that's not necessarily known as much as of a Nintendo game. I mean, it is that everyone knows Pokemon is on Nintendo because it's not really on any other consoles.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone thinks of Pokemon as Game Freak. Like, think of the fact we haven't seen, other than, I think, a Donkey Kong TV show way back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. Not much has come out of the other predominant franchises from Nintendo. I mean, granted, Bob Hoskins was an ass for the first. I think it was Bob Hoskins for the first Mario Brothers. For the first Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo. Which, don't get me wrong, I like John Leguizamo, and apparently he's bitching because they didn't have Latino representation.
No one gives a damn about you and your Latinx representation.
Yeah, he would be the person to be saying fucking Latin X like a dumbass.
He is a ass. He used to be funny. He used to be funny as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good actor. He can be good comedy and whatnot. I think his problem is just like a lot of people's problem in Hollywood, and they've divested too much of themselves and what they think they're supposed to what the ideology of Hollywood is.
Yes, Hoskins. Sorry.
And
again,
it's just one of those weird things because, like, I don't hate the Mario Brothers movie, but I don't think it's so bad it's good. I think it was a failed attempt of what it was supposed to be because they had the wrong people there.
Yes. You had good actors. You had Dennis Hopper.
That's why I said, like, for what it is, it's not a terrible movie. It's kind of like, and some people may say that may hate me on this one because I am a Denzel Washington fan. The Dark Tower movie, good movie in its own right. It does not follow what the actual story is. Well, it kind of does, but it does not follow what the books were, as how the original Super Mario Brothers movie did not follow the lore of the games.
All right, I can explain this perfectly. Hold on, I can explain this perfectly. If it is the fact that name was attached to it, had that been Adventures in Dino City, it'd have been a perfectly great movie. It would have been a great movie.
Yeah.
But the moment you attach Super Mario Brothers to it, it instantly killed that movie because it's not Super Mario Brothers. It is the same thing I had, the same hatred I have for the Monster Hunter movie. The moment you attach Monster Hunter to it, it becomes something different.
Monster Hunter would have been fine from what I originally saw. I have not seen the actual movie just because from everything I've seen, it's basically an isekai or a fish out of water movie, which I'm, for the most part, fucking tired of.
As a huge Monster Hunter fan, that movie serves no fucking purpose and it makes no sense. Had that been like I said, total friend of mine, had that movie been named SEAL Team 6, that movie would have been great.
Yeah.
But you attach Monster Hunter to it.
Go ahead, Angela.
I still have to go back to the Dark Tower. It's not Denzel Washington.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. That's why I said I think. Either way, both phenomenal actors.
They are definitely both fantastic actors.
Yes. I did not mean to mix those two up. And I've read actually, I should say 8 books technically, because I've read the 3.5.
I have only gotten to The Wolves of Kala.
If you've read the first 2 books, you know that the gunslinger, and to give his name, spoiler warning, is Rotn Dischain. He is a white man because...
Literally based off of Clint Eastwood.
Yes, the only thing that was dumb in that movie that still pissed me off to this day, that I will actually say, is the fact that they used some weird-ass thing of giving him some converted single actions, and they were Dragoon models, if all memory serves me correctly. Like, they weren't even like traditional single action armies as his revolvers, when if you've read the fucking books, he used Smith & Wesson Model 25s. Those were a single action, double action revolver. Basically Dirty Harry's revolver, but a fucking swing button 45 Colt. And that just irritates the shit out of me. But I'm forgetting the black chick's name, or the black character's name, who has like 3 different names because she originally has split personality.
And
Dolores.
What?
Dolores.
That might have been it. But when he first meets her and he brings her out of the whole thing before, like she gets to see the person who's responsible for her being as fucked up as she is get, straight murked by a train, if memory serves me correctly.
The Pusher.
Yeah. She isn't calling him an Uncle Tom. She ain't calling him a house nigga. She's calling him a honky. She's calling him a cracker. She's calling him white slurs.
Uh-huh.
And then the whole fact that they had the little moment to where, Idris Elba as Roland, as the gunslinger, has a whole thing of like a thing with his father of going up against the wizard. That didn't happen. He was dead long before then.
Exactly.
Her name is Susanna Dean.
Odetta.
Odetta is one of her names.
Yes.
Susanna is another one.
Yeah, because Song of Susanna.
The titles of the books is yeah.
That's when she merges.
Yeah, because then they just call her...
Dolores was a completely different book.
Yeah, because at the end of it, they basically start calling her Detta.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I know it had a D in it. Been forever.
Oh, she had a D in her, all right.
And it doesn't help that he wrote another book called Dolores Claiborne.
Yeah.
What's his name, Eddie?
Yep. Because then they also brought in Jake from the first book, who makes his return because of everything that's weird in that whole thing, and add him, but give him the shine because they wanted to match the movie up with the Stephen King cinematic universe.
The fucking Shining. The Shining can do whatever it wants.
I actually liked The Shining.
No,
I liked the one that they did for the Sci-Fi Channel, not the.
The most unrealistic part of that entire movie, of the original movie of The Shining, was the fact that what's-her-name smoked that much of a cigarette and the ash never fucking fell.
Right.
Like 3/4 of the cigarette is smoked and it's still all chilling on there. I'm just like, how? And she's been shaking.
What was it? Doctor Sleep or
yeah, Doctor Sleep is the sequel to it.
Yeah, where now everybody has the Shining.
No, it's the fact that there's basically psychic vampires.
Yeah, but it's a variation on like the Shining. Like the Shining is like the ability.
Yeah,
and how it manifests is different.
Well, yes, because depending on which world it is and everything, because the Dark Tower is the axis upon which all worlds turn, and that whole thing, it just kind of changes things. That's why in the Wolves of Valhalla, I think it is, because, again, spoilers for a series I finished back in like 2013, that's when they were basically going and taking psychics from different worlds to have them work on the destroying the beams that were holding up the Dark Tower, so the Red King could actually basically kind of do what he want or try to get in there. Because the village that was near, typically had things of twins born to it, and they would go and take one of each twin so they could harvest part of their mind to feed to those people, to the psychics. Because that's basically when Detta, since she had her, or was from everything paralyzed from the waist down and basically kind of was missing, I think, part of her bottom legs or something. I can't, again, it's been a while, so I can't exactly remember, but they basically find her own mobility scooter, and then they mount a gun to it.
Anybody ever diagnose Stephen King? Because he has a very disturbed mind.
Oh yes, he does, and depending on which book you're reading in there, depending on which storyline of that whole aspect, he actually wrote himself into the Dark Tower series, and in one of the timelines of it, he dies.
He has a rather disturbed. We need to do a
yes with it. He definitely had a disturbed mind. With everything else, majority of the time, he tends to keep all of the characters above 18. Again, when it comes to anything sexual.
That's a lie, because fucking It has an orgy scene.
That's why I said other than It, you freaking dunce.
That was the one exception, and at least in It was still their peer group. It wasn't like an adult perving out on kids.
Well, what was I going to say? There's something profound and awesome.
Yes, my love.
Fuck. Anyhow. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Rotn, did you ever consider the Wastelands, Charlie the Train?
I didn't even think of that.
Based on Jethro Tull's
Are you thinking Thomas the Tank Engine?
No, it was Charlie the Train. In the Wasteland book, it was the third book.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've actually gone through and reread the books. I need to do that again.
I need to start at the first and just read all the way through.
Welcome.
Oh God, the fucking! I've reread the first book at least like the first 2/3 of it like 6 times, just because the story of Tull is such a goddamn good story.
It's been so long since I read them.
Well, that's when he goes through and he meets the guy with the crow who's been basically farming beans because it's one of the few things that grows out that way. And he wants to tell him the story, but he has that whole thing of he kind of can't just go into it. So pretty much the guy who's been farming finally goes and it's just like, well, you seem like you have something on your mind. Would you like to get it off your chest? And he goes to the whole story of Tull of how, he's been chasing the wizard whose name, God, I can't fucking remember.
It ends up being Randall Flagg.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's the walk-in dude.
Yeah, because it's Randall Flagg and the other for when it was in
From the Stand.
From the Stand. And I just can't remember. Well, basically, he'd been through there beforehand, and then, he made their. From what I hate to sound mean that, but basically, overweight religious female leader quiver in her knickers. and got her knocked up.
Oh.
Oh, yay.
That's part of it. And basically, by the end of it, until even though he was banging the innkeeper, who's a woman, the entire town's dead, kids and all.
Yep.
Because pretty much they crucify the guy that he brought back to life, who chewed on the devil grass, and had her in there because basically she was told, not to ask that guy who had been brought back to, like, what was on the other side, and obviously her curiosity got the better of her, so he basically gave her a mercy killing, and the religious leader was like, we have to kill him in the name of the man Jesus. And shit ensued, and people died.
Wow.
Well,
Oh, it's way better than I'm describing.
Rotn
to read it.
is what happened and told.
What?
Rotn got pissed. The gunslinger got pissed after the chick he was banging died. That's what happened in fucking Tull.
Don't fuck over the chick he was fucking. All right.
Oh yeah,
Good to know.
Roland's a bit of a man whore. He a man hoe.
He ho.
Oh, he a hoe.
Yeah, but when you look like the Marlboro Man,
He wasn't attractive.
Well, he wasn't.
I don't know. There are people who think Clint Eastwood's attractive.
He was based more on the Clint Eastwood thing, but he was based in a lot of cases on, like, the gunslingers of lore that would have been considered mostly, like, even some of the bad guys in that whole thing, towards, like, he would have a rugged handsomeness, but not a, like, prettiness like some men have.
basically right now, I think the closest comparison you can make would be Rip from Yellowstone.
Is that Kevin Costner's character?
No, that's Kevin Costner's right hand.
I still have to watch that at some point. I haven't watched it.
Oh man, pretty good series.
I don't know where it's at, but I'll look into it. I guess.
Yeah.
I have not seen that series either.
Yeah, I know Polly frickin' does it, because apparently Kevin Costner's character isn't going to be in it too much anymore, because Kevin Costner has been working on more actual Western movies, which I'm in support of. But I would say, like, in a lot of cases, like, Roland would be like a mixture of, like, from 310 to Yuma, the main good guy and the main bad guy. So Christian Bale's character, and then Russell Crowe's character. Because
Hauser got hot.
But he's also just one of those people that's like, you can tell that he can be an extremely nice guy, but he's going to be extremely polite to you. But if a fight's going to happen, he's not going to hesitate to end your life, and he will not feel any bad about it.
And make sure that you don't forget the face of your father.
Yep. Well, that's when resorting the prayer of the gunslinger.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to have an outburst like that.
It happens. I mean, you've had me and Tyr thirsting over women, so you having a bit of a thirsting over another guy, I mean, it's natural.
I mean, wait a minute, hold on. She thirsted over Sean Astin just now earlier.
Oh, let's not forget another one of our favorites. Fix and pull that up.
Like we've seen her thirst.
Look, we've all thirsted over people. Just, we're moving on. You guys are trying to dwell on something, and there's no reason for it.
I was gonna say, how many times have I had to sit here and listen to all three of y'all talk about titties?
Well, titties are awesome.
Well, who doesn't like a good old set of mommy milkers?
Exactly. Even gay guys.
A good old set of badonkadonks. I mean, just some good old nanokadonks. Just hookanakarhakagas. I'm just going into weird shit now.
I'm waiting to see what James pulls up.
Oh, I don't even have the Discord open at the moment. Well, I have it up, but not in my main window.
Let's see.
Whatever you pull up, James, I want to let you know you're doing the Lord's work.
Someone's just going to be like...
For titties. He's trying to out me on who else I like.
It's okay. It's 2023.
Well, then, since we had the whole thing earlier with what Johnny threw in there that he'd go gay for Idris. It's actually really funny because being aircraft maintenance, they always had that whole thing. Oh, if you were going to go gay for a celebrity, who would it be?
Maxwell.
Full name.
That's the singer's name, Maxwell.
Oh. James, you got one?
If I had to go gay?
Typically, it's for a celebrity they put in there.
How much money are we talking?
$2.
Just give us the fucking celebrity.
No, talking.
Bro, it's what they make. It's not anything.
He's trying not to get in trouble.
It's not the whole like you're gonna go gay and they're gonna. It's like to go with to be with this person. They're gonna pay you so much money. It's like if you were gonna go gay for a celebrity, who would it be? This is a hypothetical question, not exactly. Okay, Johnny has also said Hugh Jackman as well.
Really, Hugh Jackman?
Well, since James is being all like prudish and whatnot, Angela, would you like to give your answer?
There are three basic possibilities.
Okay, well, of the three, who are they?
Of the, well, there's Nancy McKeon when she was, in The Facts of Life.
Okay.
There's Jane Seymour. That woman is stunning. And then Olivia Munn.
Okay.
Really? Olivia Munn? Really?
Well,
She
okay.
plays the most amazing character in my favorite TV show ever, The Newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that. Now, being aircraft maintenance... Okay, go ahead, James.
Shit, now I lost his name. He was the lead in Newsroom.
Oh, McAvoy.
John McAvoy?
Daniel,
No. Dumb and Dumber.
He was also in...
God damn it. It's not Jim Carrey, it's the other one.
Yeah.
Because it was the dude, I want to say.
You said The Newsroom, right?
Yeah, the one where it starts out where he starts talking about what make America is.
Jeff Daniels, yep.
Yes. Jeff Daniels.
You can go... Wait. You can go gay for Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. I can respect that.
I mean, quite honestly.
He was a really attractive man.
Okay, so to go into... Oh, yeah, he said... And Johnny said Jeff Daniels as well. To go into this... When we typically talked about this at the Smoke Pit, majority of the guys always went with someone who looked more effeminate, and that whole thing, Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling, that type. They look a bit more effeminate, they look a bit more pretty, and that whole thing. And I went, you know what? I gotta break the mold on this one. I couldn't just be with someone, like, I still say they're attractive, but they're also going to be someone who, while they do have money, they're going to support you more than just monetarily. They're going to support you in almost anything you do. And that would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Well, I mean, think about it. You want to go through anything, that man is going to support you. You want to get into shape and that whole thing, he's got the diet plan for you. He's got the workout tips. You want to get into something else, he's going to help you out with it. He's going to be that person that's going to be your fucking hype man.
Why don't you just fuck Shia LaBeouf?
Because Shia LaBeouf is a cannibal.
He
And
tried to be.
And Shia LaBeouf's not going to be a hype man because he's way too weird. Like, he's going to promote you to do it, but he's not going to be there, like, necessarily supporting you. He's just going to be the one, like, yeah, you can do it. Like, if you fail, The Rock's going to be the one to be like, okay, so we can stop here and we can lift you up and we know where we got to go from here. Like, he's going to be the one who's going to be supportive. And I don't care what anyone says.
There
I
you
was
go.
going to say, James, are you going to pull up a Vincent D'Onofrio pick or what?
I did.
You did, finally.
And I was going to use
762 Full
Okay.
Metal Jacket.
Hi, Joker.
I like them in Criminal Intent.
Yeah.
I loved him in Criminal Intent. That's where... Okay.
I also like.
have to
I say I
admit,
also
I
liked him
felt-
in The Cell when he played a serial killer.
Oh,
I liked him in the
No, he
Judge.
wasn't. Was
I
he
didn't
still-
like that movie.
That movie was so goddamn weird.
But
That movie was so terrible.
I actually fell in love with him in a chick flick called Mystic Pizza.
Pause. Rewind. Let's take it back a few frames, Angela. And let's go back to the name. Now, I want to make sure I heard you because my hearing is going bad. What did you say?
Mystic
I
Pizza.
felt-
Okay, I've just verified that's the case.
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts and Mystic. Okay, just making
Julia
sure.
Roberts, Annabeth Gish,
Lily
and
Taylor.
Lily Taylor were the main characters, and he played a fisherman named Bill that was
Yep.
the love interest of Lily Taylor.
And there was also Adam Stork, William R. Moses,
Yep.
Conchata Farrell, Jonah Merlin. Trying to see if there's anyone else in there I really know.
But I absolutely fell in love with Bill and almost died when he changed the name of his ship, his boat to the Nympho.
The Nympho.
He had named it after the girl, but she kept turning around and refusing to marry him and then wanting to bang him everywhere, including like the bathroom at the pizza place. So finally he just turned around and like was, I'm done, I'm fed up, you're either gonna marry me or we're gonna break up, and he changed the name of the boat to the Nympho.
Okay, wait, you got to pick him at a con, like Shia LaBeouf or who? Was it Vincent D'Onofrio, Johnny? Because like if I'd have paid attention, the con I went back to in 2008 in Chirac, and part of that one, if I'd have paid attention and done the whole thing, I'd have actually got to meet the original Green Ranger, the second Yellow Ranger, and one other person from the original Power Rangers series.
Jason David Frank.
Well, yeah, that's why I said the
That would
original.
be the other one.
Yeah, no, that would have been the original Green. That would have been the original Green Ranger,
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's why I said the original Green Ranger. Oh, D'Onofrio. Cool.
Hold on a second. Johnny just said Shia LaBeouf is a bunny boiler. Yes, I do believe he would go right on your ass.
Yeah. You got to remember, Shia LaBeouf is a cannibal.
He's not. He is.
Didn't you ever? You've never seen
that
that?
stupid video?
Yes, that video.
Oh my gosh.
You've never seen that?
There's this stupid,
I'll pull it up.
YouTube video. Oh god, it's so dumb. Oh.
I'll still say for like the whole thing of I don't know why Shia LaBeouf got famous and why the chick who played his sister, Even Stevens, frickin' didn't get more famous. Like, what the hell happened?
Shia LaBeouf got famous because of Holes.
Well, yeah, in that one. And for other than a few things with a couple of the characters, because the director and whatnot didn't want to physically put the kid through that. from what I've read it, or from what I've seen, it's pretty accurate to the book, actually. But yeah, Giant, I don't remember who it was, and I met all sorts of people at that freaking con. It was fun as hell. I want to go to another anime convention.
Again, if you're ever in Washington around August, I can get you in.
We're talking Washington D.C., right? Or are we talking Washington
DC.
State?
D.C.
Yeah, the only problem with that is they're not going to want me to carry my own gun. They're not going to carry a gun.
Again, if you get on security, you can.
Well, I don't know
if that. I've seen that.
I don't know if they do the whole reciprocity with with Michigan for concealed carry.
They should.
Not every state does it, and not every place does it, because they're a bunch of bastards. So I haven't really met too many people for Famous. I've only got to meet most of them that I've met was in quick passing. Like I got to meet, I don't think the band ever really got off, but Another Black Day, I got to bullshit with them for a little bit when I was before I joined the military. This was back in the early days when Five Finger Death Punch was just hitting it big, before Ivan Moody put his head firmly and directly into his small intestine.
Anal orifice.
No. He already had it. He already had his head up his ass. But this is when he finally bypassed the large intestine and got it into the small intestine.
Wow.
Like
that's a unique ability.
Yeah, it was before that. But I got to meet Maria Brinks momentarily and get her autograph with the rest of In This Moment. And I know there's a lot of people in the music industry, or like in the music reviews and whatnot, they're like, oh, they're not that great of a band, and they don't know why some people. It's like, because Maria Brinks is A, hot as hell, and as a man, I would have that woman's babies. She is
only.
I can't get out of a freaking proper sentence with her, because it's like, when I met her, absolutely adorable, complete fucking sweetheart, like just super nice person. And I don't know if it was an act or whatnot, but from everything I've seen from her, it wasn't. And just, that's what made me basically fall in love. I haven't really listened to too much after them, because like Lizzie Hale's very similar from Hailstorm.
Okay. So
because it's for them, it's always something of how I've seen them in almost like a because I want to say both of them I saw in either a plaid skirt and or dress type thing with thigh high stockings and like stiletto-ish boots, singing and or playing an instrument, and it just sealed the deal, because it's just like great, I'm in love.
I've met a few celebrities working at the airport.
Oh, you're bound
to. I had a picture of a friend of mine with Biz Marquee. I've met fucking senators. I've met moguls, business moguls. A few actors that really didn't do anything. I think I've met Amy Winehouse one time.
So I think the funniest ones I have for a story, they're not mine, but they're a couple of coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
One was when Jackass was kind of in its prime. One of my coworkers, when he was still in Okinawa, he got to meet Wee Man. Like after a night of basically being like straight up shithoused. Like he's not looking his best, and it's one of those things like it's in the morning at a restaurant, and that whole thing is being like, holy shit, blah blah. So like Wee Man signed his shirt, and he's just like, clean yourself the fuck up. Like not verbatim written out there. He's just like, buy a new shirt. The other one was my buddy who's down in Florida, and this was when we were still back in New Mexico. This was before him and I had actually started talking or anything. Because I was still in mock, but he got to meet Carlos Mencia in the Clovis, New Mexico IHOP at like 1 a.m. because this was after the George Lopez incident where George Lopez kicked his ass.
Ouch.
So it's like that showed you how far he fell.
Oh.
All right, Johnny, take it easy, man.
See you, Hellcat.
Have a good night. Hope your head gets feeling better.
If you're playing games or whatnot this Thursday for your minions, I'm down since that'll be a down day from the gym for me.
If you playing games for minions, I'm always down.
Yeah, we know, because you have less of a life than I do.
That's bullshit. Hey, it's my fault I have to work late.
Hey, so do I. I just go to the gym after work most of the time.
Well, I don't plan to go to the gym until it officially is the summer, because I fucking hate standing on the bus stop in the cold.
I prefer working out at home.
I can do that for some things, but I need more machines or more stuff than what I already own. And by paying a gym membership, I kind of force myself to go. That's why I said it's like...
about doing a gym, but...
That's why I said it's like he doesn't have much less of a life than me. If I weren't going to the gym, Tyr and I would be basically very similar. We go to work, and we go home. And maybe occasionally go out to eat.
Yes. Hey, I go to the market. That counts.
Well, going to the supermarket and whatnot is a given.
I go to the Walmart.
That
okay.
doesn't really count.
I go to Meijer or Family Fare because those are the two places I prefer to go to. And they're also closer than Walmart. Plus, depending on how much I spend at Family Fare, I get a little 5+% off gas at their gas station.
Ooh. So it's incentive.
Yeah. Plus, depending on which one I go to, if I go to the South Side one, their place that does fresh sushi is better than their North Side one. Their North Side one's yum yum sauce is weird. It's like they let it sit for a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the yummiest of yum.
Yeah, it's darker and just doesn't taste as good. That's why I was really happy on Saturday, even though I had to go and pay my taxes and whatnot. Or I shouldn't say pay my taxes, but, you know, got the whole, yes, you do owe money to the federal government because they're a bunch of pricks. And this was like the first time I made over $40,000 in my life for a year. They're like, you owe us money. But it's like, okay, I'll come and sign for it, have it all done to where it can be filed electronically. And I'm like, well, since there's that ramen place, Sapporo's in Grand Rapids, I'm going to go get ramen.
Ah, yes. Now you make me want to go get some ramen, you bastard. I hate you. We can't be friends anymore.
Yes, we can.
You're right.
Together now.
Well, that's like the only so far recently of the ramens I've tried that are like the microwavable or whatnot. It's been, I think, the Manchunian, whatever, the actual like big old bowls that they have that I can get of like the spicy miso or the super spicy beef one, whatever. Those ones have been good.
Last time I've had top ramen, they still was calling soy sauce Oriental, and I refuse to eat anything other than Oriental. I don't know what the fuck soy sauce is. Well, I know what it is, but you know what I mean. I want Oriental flavor.
Well, that was like when I was listening to Sanguine the other day on Minions. Go ahead, Angela.
You don't know what soy sauce is?
It's kind of in the title.
It's soy sauce. But no, I was saying Top Ramen changed the name of the Oriental flavor to soy sauce. And I know it's the Oriental, and I'm using air quotes, rebranding of the Oriental one. But fuck you, I want Oriental, not soy sauce. Don't know what soy sauce is.
Well, the frickin' the spicy beef one is probably one of my favorites. But yeah, like when it was I think Friday when Sanguine has Minions, he was going over something. I'm like, great, dude, you're making me miss the freaking ramen joint I used to frequent. I went there a minimum of once a week, which why I was so pissed when we went to lockdown, because for a while I couldn't, like, I had to wait until they did a you can order from your car type thing, because they got a fuck ton of their business from the military. But this place did more of a broth ramen, and they made a curry ramen.
Oh, I've already had plans to break into Sangwa's house and eat his leftovers.
Oh, dude, but no, like, because like normally you have like the soy sauce thing you can pour on it for the gyoza and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even need the soy sauce when I got the curry ramen with my gyoza. I would just eat some of the, it's like mix up my ramen and then take like 2 of the gyoza and then dunk them directly into the broth of it and let them sit there to soak in some of the curry, and just, oh god, it was so good.
You're making me hungry, man.
You are.
Yeah, I had my last 2 apple fritters before we started the stream.
I'm about to go downstairs and raid my kitchen.
I mean, you can go ahead and do that.
I can. I'm on my phone. Sweet. Thank you.
Just mute while you're eating.
Oh no, I'm probably gonna get something to drink and continue the raid.
Well, I don't think there's too much really we have to say, because I think we've deviated far enough away from the movie of what we had to say about it. I mean, yes, there were some issues, but nothing that were extremely detrimental to the movie.
Like we were all over the place tonight. We were.
Well, I mean, most of us are. I'm pretty sure I'm undiagnosed ADD and whatnot. Plus, I've been drinking, so that doesn't help. You're kind of a spaz here. James just goes wherever.
Well, James is ADD.
And then Angela had been drinking as well, so that didn't help any of us.
No, James is just old, and yeah, I'm kind of spastic.
And I'm basically along for the ride. When I try to steer us back on course, I usually get knocked over anyway, so...
Angela, what I tell you? Like,
Angela's on the Titanic. Iceberg! Iceberg! Okay, we're going right. Keep going! Don't go left now! God damn it!
Look, Angela is the one telling us about the iceberg, and then we see a bird fly by. I'm like, oh, sweet, let's go see the bird.
Guys, let's go fly a kite.
There's a cliff.
What?
There's a lighthouse.
There's a line over at the
Squirrel!
Shiny! No, not that way. We're gonna die. Angela, you're trying to herd a bunch of cats. That's what you're trying to do.
That's okay. James still has the picture of Vincent D'Onofrio up. We did 310 to Yuma a little while back, and I decided to check it and see if it was on Amazon, and it wasn't. But I did find the Magnificent Seven, and part of the reason that James is torturing me with Vincent D'Onofrio is that
he's in it.
Bald like a baby.
You know, if you watch the Magnificent Seven, we have to watch Rotn, the Seven Ronin.
The Seven Samurai.
Yeah, Seven Samurai. My bad. Yeah, you have to watch Kurosawa. Like, you cannot not watch Kurosawa and then watch the Magnificent Seven. Like, it just had to be done.
All I can think of now, and what's really funny is I can't remember who it was, but he was actually like an English or Dutch or something. I think it was the only one who didn't stop the Dutch, but was one of the driving factors of a Westerner to stop Japan from really doing anything with the West. And he actually ended up marrying a Japanese woman and becoming technically a samurai, so he is the world's first documented case of a weeb.
I know who you're talking about. And
then all I could think of is like the Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, to where it's like you see the Westerners, they see him, and I've got a meme somewhere where it's just like it shows them, then shows him, then it goes back to them, and they're like, fucking weeb.
Being a weeb meant something. You got a cool ass sword. You kill motherfuckers left and right.
A sword.
Huh?
I used to own a sword.
I got a wooden one. I'm a weeb.
No, I owned a little short, one-handed short sword.
So you owned a Bilbo.
Right.
Basically, Bilbo had a dagger.
Yes.
No, so Bilbo's name. What a Bilbo is a short sword. That's what his name means. His short sword. And so you owned a Bilbo.
You seem to be interested in like bioflicks. Vincent D'Onofrio and Renee Zellweger were in a movie called The Whole Wide World, where Vincent D'Onofrio actually played Robert Howard, who wrote the Conan book.
Really?
Yeah. It was actually a pretty good movie. I really.
Did you know that Robert Howard and H.P. Lovecraft were pen pals?
I tend to just watch whatever kind of catches my fancy.
I tend to watch documentaries.
And there we go. I just threw it in the general. And that. But I think from there we're gonna wrap it up. It's about 1:30 in the morning in the AM. I think we all have work in tomorrow.
Fuck no.
I might get fired tomorrow.
Oh God, James.
Now you can tell us about that offline if you so choose. We won't
talk about it when.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put that on the stream and say, but we all have the plausibility of being fired tomorrow.
I don't.
There's no.
They could fire you any day, dude. You don't know.
They could, but my union would eat their badges, and I'd laugh because the union would stop them.
No, because I'm expecting that whole thing. They're just gonna fold the whole TSA. I could hope they could do something right. That'd be funnier than hell to me. But we're gonna call it a night in that one. So for Johnny, appreciate you coming out and everything. Next week, I have no idea what we'll be watching.
Isn't it Palate Cleanser Week?
Yes, we'll discuss that more on Tears stream.
All right.
Because that'll let me look for something necessarily. I mean, there's many things we could do. We could go with Tremors. We could go with Tommy Boy, for those who may or may not have seen it. There's a whole bunch of different things we could go with. But
what were we supposed to do? It was not Stand By Me, but The Other Side or The Others.
The Outsiders?
The Outsiders.
At some point, but that wasn't going to be a palate cleanser. That was going to be a nostalgia stream.
Okay, all right. I just remember us talking about it.
Yeah. But anything y'all want to pass on, words of wisdom, parting phrases, besides like, I don't like pain, it hurts me. Consume your passions, don't let it consume you. Or if you're passionate about something, consume it, don't let it consume you.
Fine, Jesus, just take all the fun out of stealing things and hate Campbell's words.
Yeah, that was basically the whole point.
Never put the chick in the fart box after Taco Bell.
Never stick your dick in crazy. Unless crazy is really hot. Never come in crazy.
Oh God.
Never not crazy up.
Yeah, never knock crazy up. And always use the fake name. Miat Javar.
Just keep watching movies. Don't listen to these guys.
Well, I mean, I didn't get into the whole thing earlier with the video game movies. What I meant to go with, like, how Uwe Boll just tanked movies because it let him be a tax write-off for the movie industry.
Yeah, he destroys movies. Oh, you know what would be a great video game movie to do? The Wizard.
I love that movie.
Well, we'll talk about it more later. And James, did you have? You did say something that, and you all did in that one. So we're gonna call it there. It's been fun. I'm much more sober than I was when I started. Well, my drink was basically empty, and I had been drinking them slowly like I should. So everyone have a good week. Hope you had a happy Easter. I think that means Lent is over or something for all of them. I don't know.
Catholics.
Yes, Lent ends on Easter.
I don't know religion that well anymore. I know just enough on Christianity to be an asshole. But hope you all have a good one. I know there's another holiday coming up sometime and everything. So have some fun. If you're old enough to, go buy a gun and don't shoot no one. Unless it's in self-defense. Because guns are fun.
You're wearing a wig and a dress.
Yeah. Why not? But have a good one, folks.
Good night.
Later.